Speaking of talking about population control and whatnot, we're speaking on. What do you guys think about the Wade versus Roe being overturned? What are your thoughts on it? I mean, we're men, but we also have children. We have daughters, all of us, and we have significant others, wives. We've had when we've dated. So, Ray, that's single right now. Any ladies out there looking for him? So what are your thoughts on that, guys? How do you guys feel about it? Do you think it's a setback? Or do you think there's some validity in it? Do you think what's your thoughts?
I stand on more of the side for the woman's rights, man. Definitely. I believe that women should have the right to decide what they want to do with their bodies. That's how I've always felt. As simple as that to me. Okay. Now, I know from a Christian aspect, Christians feel like, this is from my point of view, that having an abortion is wrong, which biblically speaking it is. But what about rape, incest? What about let's say somebody back to rape? What do you do then? Like what is your role to do then? What do you have to do? I don't know.
This is such a difficult subject, right? Because I was born and raised Catholic, right? Underwent all the sacraments, holy sacraments. You're talking baptism, first communion, confirmation, marriage. Did all of that, and I always think there's people don't agree with this approach, but I think there is a fine line sometimes between science and the spiritual side of things, religion.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I think they're often closer than we're willing to remain open to. So with a situation like this, I have the part of me that the altar boy, the born and raised Catholic that should have an issue with this, and should be celebrating this decision, but that's not how I feel.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think there's a lot of things that take place sometimes. You've got incest, you've got rape, you've got medical conditions where the baby could cause physical harm, or better yet, the fetus is experiencing irregular growth, and it looks like it's either not going to make it, or the quality of life that's waiting for that baby on the other side is something that maybe the parents are not up to, right? So there's so many instances in which having access to proper care is crucial.
Right.
And the one thing that I always try to hold on to from a spiritual standpoint is, if the argument is this is not what God wants, which I won't argue that at all, there's so many other things that we could also be looking at that need to be addressed, right? But it seems like this is like a core issue for a lot of folks. And what I always try to remember more than anything about, whatever God you worship, whatever your religion choice may be, is God gave us choice, right? And ultimately, you have to deal with the consequences of your choice come Judgment Day, whoever you believe in.
That's
so ultimately, if you are going to make this decision for you and your body and what you feel is right for you, I feel like it's not my place to tell you what you should do. I don't believe it's my right to, beat you down with my beliefs, because ultimately that you're going to have to live with the consequences of that decision, whether it may be right to you or not. And regardless of what you believe in, when you meet your maker, you're going to have to deal with the consequences of that decision then too, but it's not my place to play judge and jury. Like I am imperfect myself, and I make poor decisions all the time. I could probably think back 20 minutes ago, I probably made a poor decision. So who am I to tell somebody how to live their life? So it's something I struggle with, because like I said, a born and raised Catholic, altar boy, the whole nine, shout out to Our Lady of Lakes. But I feel really strongly about this, that ultimately it should be a female's decision, and we shouldn't be removing the means, because ultimately what's left? Are we back to a back alley with some shady doctor putting someone at risk? Are we back to females feeling like so overwhelmed with the lack of options that we're back to like, wire hanger scrapes to try. Like, it's insane to think that we're in this day and age, and this is some of the things that you potentially have to consider. So that's kind of my thoughts on the matter.
Okay.
So two things. All right. So here's the thing. You saying you just said, I'm gonna start with what you said. You said it was a female decision. Do you think it should be a female decision or it should be a couple decision?
Should be a couple decision.
All right. That's one. Because
But
it's never been the
ultimately-
case. It's never been the case.
But ultimately, I think it still comes down to the right of the female, because
Yeah.
the female has to carry that child for 9 months, and the female is ultimately
Her body.
taking on the stress of that pregnancy.
But here's the thing.
Yep.
In the court system, let's say if a man says he doesn't want the child, what happens? Doesn't matter. It's a female decision.
Yeah.
Even if they know they're not if he's not financially set or whatever, it's put on him regardless. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying, I know you're saying the woman carries it, but the man's going to take responsibility for 18 years, and regardless if he wants to do it or not.
You mean child support? Is that what you're referring to?
Well, child support, taking care of the child regardless.
Right.
So if the guy's like, I can't afford this, whatever, it's never looked upon.
I got what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? The woman has all the power and consideration, financial, whatever she wants to take in place, but it's never the man like say, I want to keep that child. He can't go and say, I want to keep it. Let her have the child and I'll take care of it. He doesn't have a say.
Right.
I think that's wrong.
I agree.
I think that's wrong. I think, okay, so the overturn thing, I think, let's say, for instance, if there was something like reform, because, yeah, things do happen. But when you have abortions that yours is your 7th or 8th, that's a problem.
Agreed.
I think you're a habitual serial killer now.
Okay.
Because there are people that don't take responsibility and abuse what that system was created for, right?
Well, what's the alternative?
What do you mean? As far
You're going to
as
force someone to have a child, and then that child ends up in foster care, and the foster care system right now is busting at the seams, because unless you're a cute little baby and you're lucky to find someone to take you in, you come up in the system, and ultimately that system probably has turned out just as much bad folks as it is good folks. So I'm all for whatever we decide is great, but
there has to be a middle. Like, to me, it has to be a middle, because, like I said, if you're going to the club killing it, but every couple years you're pregnant and you're at the damn clinic, man, that's a problem.
You know what else is crazy though?
That's a problem.
Abortion is made. The price of an abortion is cost effective versus adoption. Adoption, the prices to adopt a child is astronomical,
and it's harder.
It's so much harder.
Yeah, so that should be changed.
It should change, because you were talking about $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to be able to adopt a child, and you got to wait years.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Years versus if you want to go get an abortion, it could be done that weekend, that night, that day. That also should have, if they wanted to change something,
that's my point. My point is, you can't pick and choose what part of the issue makes you feel comfortable, as far as like, okay, well, we've overturned this, I feel better about what we did. Okay, that's great, but what about everything else? What is the alternative? And that's the issue. Like, no one is talking about, okay, what happens next?
Has it made it better?
Right. Have you improved the situation? No, because all you've done is tackled a very small piece of a much bigger problem. And that's the issue I have with it. So unless you're willing to address the whole system, top to bottom, like you said, maybe you make adoption more feasible. Maybe we revisit the laws on how much power a female has on what happens with that child, right? Because you're right.
Absolutely.
Maybe I don't want to have the kid and you do, and then you're able to roll up into child services and say, hey, you know what, I need assistance, and now I'm on child support. But if I want to have the child and you don't, then you know what, too bad. So sad. And it's as crazy as it sounds, I still on some level respect that, because you know what, the woman is taking on the physical undertaking of childbirth. but it can't be all or nothing, right? There has to be some type of give there. So that's the issue I have with it. Like, what's the alternative? Like, great, you can't you return the power to the states. Certain states, I think the last count I had, like, forgot what it is, but there's probably like close to like somewhere in the teens that already have trigger laws in place to, make this effective either immediately or 30 days or after like somebody of power signs off on it. But what's the alternative?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can also see too, I forgot the woman, who was the woman that created Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
And I believe she was a racist or something, if I'm not
She
mistaken.
was a racist?
And it was put in the black communities. And there
was intent behind it.
Yeah, the status, the actual amount of Terry gave me this number, statistically 40% of the black community aborts. And you had what's this guy's ex-wife? Amazon.
Bezos?
Bezos' ex-wife put like, I don't know, 10 million or something into that Planned Parenthood to help more of that stuff. I don't know what all Planned Parenthood does.
Margaret Sanger.
Yeah.
Fania Mendel, Ethel Byrne.
Yeah.
Brian.
Damn.
Yeah. So a lot of it was done.
Title.
I know. A lot of it was done to target a specific race as far as the Planned Parenthood, as far as going to the origins of it. If you look into that.
Well, like many things, that might have been the origins of it, but I don't believe that's what it ultimately, I don't believe that that's kind of where it stayed. And whatever the initial plan was, whether it's effective or not, I don't know. But I know that this is something that a lot of women feels very strongly about, regardless of what side of the fence you're on. So, again, it's easy to say, like, okay, like, no, we're returning the power to the states, but what is the fix? Is the fix now that, because here's the issue, right? As is, we've got people complaining about all these families that are being supported by the government, right? Like, oh, they live off of welfare, we're supporting them. Okay, so now how is this decision helping that? If anything, it's promoting further welfare, right? And for a very long time, there was a stigma that minorities, all they do is bear a bunch of children and collect a free check from the government. So, like, which is it? Which is it?
Well, do we want to hear from the people? We got some callers that called in.
Yeah, we definitely do. I just wanted to say, like I said, going back, I think, we as Americans, I mean, women want men to stand up for their rights, and like I said, you have the right to make your decision when it comes to your body. The whole vaccination thing that took place, that put fear of God in people, because you were going to get mandatory vaccination, lose your job. That happened for a little bit. Yeah, people stood up for that. That to me was not great at all. This is on a different level. I understand. Like I said, there's should it be reform to it? Yeah, I think there should be reform, because at the end of the day, if you're doing something to yourself psychologically, if you're a woman and you're constantly just erasing something, like it's nothing. If you throw away life, like I said, if you're habitual, if this is like you haven't learned your lesson, you haven't taken precaution, you haven't, and you just continuously go there.
What's the option though, Reg? Is it
but I'm saying
a female?
No. I'm saying it should be reform. Like I said, like there should be options. Let's say, like, okay, so let's say
the reform.
No. My thing is like, so let's say if it was like
she's had 12 abortions, what do you do
so
at 13?
No. My thing is like this. So if it's like, okay, they allowed you a abortion.
But his question is, if you had
if they allowed you one, if
you had a magic wand and Shalinda came in here and she's on abortion number 7, and
now she's here for 8.
She's here for 8.
Now it's
and you had the power. You were the person who had the power. What would you do?
8. You sat her down and say, "Look, let me show you what you've done." I mean, 8. This is you got to keep, sorry.
Right. Like, you sit her down. You say, "This is what you done."
Yeah.
Is she allowed to have another abortion?
Right.
No.
So you say no.
No, man. That's 8 babies, bro.
You have the child.
Okay, so she has the child, and the child either ends up in a situation where there has a mother that resents it, or it ends up in foster care.
But let's put now I'm gonna turn
the fix?
But now I'm gonna turn the coin.
Yes.
So men get this all the time. So when men have a child and they don't want it, they get, oh, it doesn't matter. You have to deal with the consequences. They're adults. At the end of the day,
Yes.
at the end of the day, that's your child you raise. Hey, not everybody's in a perfect situation.
The difference is men take on the financial component more times than not.
But
not
emotionally,
necessarily
no,
the
not
raising.
really, because men take the emotional thing. Men get emotional. Like here, people.
Yeah, but
It's
you
the
just
same
said-
stigma. It's the same stigma. Like,
But you
oh,
just
men don't
said
feel
when men
things.
don't have a choice. So if
Oh.
if you're leaning on choice, more than likely that's a situation where it's a guy that didn't want to have a baby.
No. What I'm saying, as far as when I mean choice, I mean they have no say in it at all. They have no choice in it at all. Well, as far as it's putting the same question on the woman, like, I'm sorry, you have no choice. Like, hey, if a man has no choice, then you have no choice and deal with the consequences. At the end of the day, it's not that you're
a
gonna.
man could pick up and go across the country and never see that child. A woman has to birth that child,
No, but-
and then has to make a decision. Either she wants to keep it or put it up for adoption. The two are not the same. I agree with you as far as the power of making a decision, but the consequences don't even come close, bro. They are not the same.
I'm saying, as far as the reform to it, like I said, you can't sit there and have 8 abortions and not be held accountable.
And what do you do with 9? Yeah, so this is.
But that's what
here's-
I'm saying.
here's-
But
but
so
here's
you're
the
okay
problem.
with someone doing like 9 abortions?
Here is the problem.
And her not learning her lesson?
You are providing a number and a consequence to make you feel better. And all I'm saying is,
It's not to make me feel better.
Well, clearly it is, because you feel some kind of way. So my question is,
No.
what happens at number 9? How is forcing a woman to have a child that she doesn't want to have, and then take years of abuse and emotional torment to that child?
So
or
why is
put it
she?
up for adoption?
So why is she
Well,
not
she had-
sterile? So
yeah.
why is she not sterile? Then?
I get.
So then the option is to sterilize her. Is
No.
what you're saying?
No. What is she doing then?
yeah.
But that's what I'm asking.
No,
you.
but
It's
I'm
easy
not.
to
I
be
don't
like,
have the
let's do
answer.
this.
No, but I don't have the answer. My
that's
thing
my
is,
problem.
That's
But
what we
everybody's
gotta
saying
we gotta have answers.
we got
that's
to
the
no.
thing. We need an answer.
But
we
don't
have an answer.
We have it. But all I'm trying to say is, here's the thing. My thing is this. Ray, you were
Consequences
with
are
me.
great.
Jeff, you were. I don't know if you're with me or not. But
I'm with both
to
of
me,
y'all.
yeah. But to me, men have forever have not had the choice. And now women are in this situation 50 years later. No, they're in this situation now. And this is a woman feeling like what a man has dealt with in America. I don't know about any other place.
I wish we had a woman right here, right?
Yeah,
now.
well, I'm saying like, no, I'm saying, but that's why I try to say it's crazy that this is only a woman's choice.
Where's Amber
like,
Heard at?
You know, it's only a woman's
So
choice.
as a man, I either want to have a child and she said no, or I do want to have it, or I don't want to have the child and she says no, or she says yes.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's either we're heading towards a place where I want to be a father, and she's like no, and then you know what? You're right. I got to eat that. That pains me. That lets me know.
Yes,
Like,
and it's
okay,
emotional damage done over the years. Like, let's say, for instance, you're sitting back and you're 50 and you're like, damn, I could have had a child that was 30 now.
that lets me know. But the thing is, there's still a certain level of irresponsibility there, right? Because chances are, if you guys were working towards having a child and had a conversation, then that's not something that just ups and surprises you. More than likely, that's a situation that was unplanned for or not talked about, right?
Absolutely.
So like, I hear where you're going with it, but at that point, as a person, you realize like, okay, maybe this isn't the person for me, and you move forward, right?
But
if she was unwilling to take the chance to roll the dice on me and my child, she's not for me, and you move forward. And you're right, it is about her having the power. All I'm saying is it's easy to
But men don't
award
have
a
the word.
consequence when there isn't an answer to the consequence.
I understand, but that what you just said is that's what men have to do all the time. Eat the bullet or pay the bill or whatever the case may be, because the woman can decide your life or your sentence. They can decide your 18-year sentence or sorry, I made a decision. I'm going to live my life, or they can use you as a pawn in whatever situation the case may be if you're not together. It's because there's so much power given to this one person. I just say, that's why I said it should, if we're talking about abortion, it should be a couple thing, because if it took a man, a person to
But the difference
to
is
create,
if a woman
to-
is choosing
to-
to have a child, she's probably accepted the responsibility that comes with that, whether it comes with or without support. If you're saying that this person has to have this child, the man still isn't getting off, right? Because potentially they're still going to have to pay child support.
I'm saying it should
And
be
now
choice. It should
you
be
have a
two choices.
woman, and now you have a woman that has a child that doesn't want a child, and you know what? Who knows what type of trauma or abuse that child's going to go through, because you know what, they were unwanted from the very beginning. I mean,
So
we
that's
have live
so that's the
cases of
problem
that.
we've had right now. As far as it caused more of a problem now. We can't. There is no answer, no concrete.
Unless
answer.
you're willing to sterilize people, right?
Yeah,
that's one. Or if you're gonna put them on a number, that's fine. But I'm just saying it's not fixing anything.
No, it's not fixing anything.
It's
But I'm
not.
just saying it gets better when you give men rights when it comes to this. So when you give a man a say so in this, because then they can make a decision, and then hey, if it doesn't work out, go to the court, and the court can determine whether maybe the court determines if the father wants it and the mother doesn't want it.
But it's
then, hey,
not
she
like,
carries-
but it's not like it's going to be like a property where you say, I won't have, and I don't, or you can't sell
But
it
that's what they do now.
with
But
kids.
That's what they do now.
With kids,
Yes, because if the man doesn't want it, whatever, woman goes to court and gets him for child support. He has no say. So how is it different? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm
Your
looking
fault-
at it from perspective of
Right.
having a man have a choice. And here's the say: I'm saying if the man wants the child and the woman doesn't, then you know what? They can go to court
The
because
problem is the man doesn't have the child, right? And so ultimately,
but it's his child
but
because the system will come and say this is your child when he doesn't want the child. So how is it different when he does want the
ultimately,
child?
it's not about the man or the woman. It should be about the well-being of the child.
Absolutely.
So if
A man
woman-
wants it, that's the best interest in the child, right?
Right, but now you're asking a woman to give birth to a child that she doesn't want. If the man could have the
that's
child, then you know what, by all means have it.
But
he
that's what
can't,
women have
right?
been doing. But that's what women have been doing, having the child that a man doesn't want and raising the child, and the guy's been
Red-
financially taken care of. So how could it not be flipped over for a man to take over the
But
child
Reg,
and the woman
you're
financially support?
generalizing. You're kind of generalizing because the truth is, like, if you are
Not.
in a situation where a woman had your child,
Mm-hmm.
and you're on child support, then you know what? You still had to take part in the deed. And so there's some responsibility on your part if you now have a child that you didn't want and you have to pay for. So to put all the onus on the woman is not necessarily fair. And if you're
That's
in a
not what I'm saying.
situation where you're with a woman that is pregnant and you want the child and she didn't want it and she aborted it, yes, heartbroken, not fair, but you know what? That's also an indication to you, like, that's not the person I need to be with, and you keep it moving.
But it does not. It's not keep it
It's
moving.
not
If
gonna
the
be
guy
fair.
wants the child and the child is born, it's not as easy as keep it moving because that's a life that's gone. That's a part of that person that's gone. So it's not as easy as that. Like I said, it almost placates to the stereotype that men don't have feelings.
The thing
Like
is, you want
a man didn't want to grow up and be a father.
Hey,
You
like
want a
a boy.
50% stake in something that you're not the one that's having to undergo the physical torment with.
But
that's
but we can't switch it when it's convenient because they have the 50. They say you have the 50
so.
stake
Then how
when,
about this?
when
How
the man
about this?
doesn't want the child, right?
So
Hey,
then,
listen,
here's the
listen,
easy fix.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Here's the easy fix. You talked about reform. Then the reform should be simple. Unless both parties are on board with having the child, then you know what? The child should bear no financial responsibility, and that takes care of that. I have an answer. See,
Oh, no, I agree. That should be that.
takes care of that. My question is, what's the answer for forcing someone to have a child that they don't want to have?
That's
No,
the
I
question.
agree.
We don't have the magic bullet for that one.
Yeah, I
we
agree.
don't.
No, I agree. Like I said, there's so many ways to reform it, but my whole point was men have been dealing with this forever, and I'm not talking about just as far as being not having. We've talked about it, not having equal rights when it comes to family law. Like, hey, sometimes the mother's not the best caretaker. So, just to have it all goes back to, okay, the man's just a good breadwinner and lays a stud, but he can't be a great parent and raise a child.
Agreed.
So that's what I'm talking about as far as reform. And I'm talking about reform. I'm talking about the whole system needs to be reformed. This whole family law needs to be reformed from the ground up. So hopefully, this Roe versus Wade, if people are asking for men to support this as well, then you guys should also support men when it comes to rights. The fathers having rights and that's what I'm talking about. Because we're not equal.
I don't ever see that going down that way. I can't
I don't
see
see
a
it either.
situation where
Exactly.
where
Well,
a
I'm
court
saying
is
we're not
gonna
equal.
Force a woman. To
No.
have a child that she
I was
doesn't
not
wanna
saying
have.
that. I'm saying as far as a lot of things that we talk about, men having more more rights when it comes to this shit because you walk in the game's rigged.
So would you be okay if they say you need to get snipped?
If you need to get clipped, if you're say you're responsible and you whatever, and
let's say you're on your 4th child and they say, Billy Bob, it's time for you to get snipped.
Well, your 4th child, you talking about aborting?
Yeah, your 4th child, and you're the father of that child. Is it okay for the guy to get snipped?
Well, you're not supporting, or what are you doing? Like let's say you're a deadbeat. Let's give me more. Give me more content to this.
Let's just say you're the father,
yeah,
and you've been agreeing that we should get abortions, right? With the wife, because you said the man should have more power. Let's say the man has been telling his wife equal. Let's say the man's been telling the woman that she should have the abortions, and she agrees with her man. So would you be okay if they say, well, this has been your 4th abortion that you've been a part of, you should get snipped?
The man, yeah, if he wants it, yeah.
The man, you should be. Yeah. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, well, I mean, the man is the one producing. Either one can get it.
Okay.
He can get it or she can get it. They can decide which one wants to go, if they want to do that. Yeah, absolutely.
No.
Choice.
I mean, is that part of would that be part of your reform?
Maybe if they had programs that they paid for it, it'll help with the payment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's ways around it. I mean, there's people that probably want it but can't afford it.
That's true.
You know what I mean? There's things they can do. Like Planned Parenthood could do things like that. But I like I said, essentially, I was just being, I'm for women having rights to their bodies, but I'm also going to be the advocate for men here and say, you know what? Hey, let's be honest. We haven't had a fair shake in this at all. And that's why I was bringing that up.
No, the beauty because people are going to sit back. You had your opinion though about men. I mean, what you said is very valid though, because I mean, I don't think of it. I never thought about it from that point of view. As far as if the man does really want it and the woman doesn't, it's usually not that way.
Nope,
it's usually not that way. But if that happened,
there have been instances though.
But it's not. But it's I'm gonna say rare. It's just not common.
Yeah,
not common. But to hear it from your viewpoint is pretty good though. I like that.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know the fix for that, and I don't think there is one.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
there's no bullet. There's no magic bullet, silver bullet, magic bullet. How do you want to put it?
I think the other aspects you can work something on, right? Like for instance, like you mentioned, if I don't want to have the child and you want to have the child, then you know what, you're taking on the financial responsibility.
Well,
right?
you're taking everything.
But then some people will be like, well, that's still not fair. But then it goes back to like, okay, so I have no power on forcing you to have a child.
Exactly.
And I have no power if you want to have the child and I don't want to have it. So and then the argument will, well, you just need to be responsible. Yeah, but it takes two.
Exactly.
Right? So I get
especially when the guy's especially when you're being responsible, because it's like the woman being responsible, having an abortion. Like, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, hey, well, I'm not ready for this. I told you this.
Right.
So you know what? I'll sign my rights, and here you go.
Yeah. Then the other flip to that though too is like, if you want to put a number to it, I mean, one workaround on the abortion as far as reform is it could be that for every abortion you get, the price goes up.
Oh,
right. That would also be a way to potentially remove incentive or like create incentive to be a little more responsible. Like if every time you had an abortion, let's say the price doubles.
Yeah. And maybe this makes people,
and I don't know. I don't know the answers.
Hold on, baby. Bobby gonna about to be 18,000. I don't know.
Well, maybe it makes people more responsible.
I don't know.
Maybe lessens the sexual transmitted diseases, because maybe people say, oh shit, I'm this because I'm not gonna be stuck.
I'm about to find that serious.
You know what I mean? But, so I'm not going to hold up anymore. But, Ray, you said you had something for us?
So, yeah, I put out on Facebook that we're going to talk about the Roe versus Wade. We're going to try to touch on it.
Okay.
And I was hoping that we can get some female viewpoints, females' opinions, how they feel about it. So I got some people to, send me some messages. So I got some calls. So let me get to that real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Ray. I thought I'd address this issue of abortion two ways. Biblically, first, I find my identity in Christ. I believe in the sanctity of life. I believe that life begins at conception. I believe this because I believe in God and the Word of God. Psalms 139 says, "For you created my innermost parts. You wove me in my mother's womb. I will give thanks to you because I am awesome and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. and my soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully formed in the depths of the earth. Your eyes have seen my formless substance, and in your book were written all the days that were ordained for me, when as yet there was not one of them. So I believe life begins at conception. My husband and I support resources for women here in Daytona Beach on Ridgewood Avenue. This center does not offer or refer for pregnancy terminations or birth control. Information is provided as an educational service and should not be relied on as a substitute for professional and or medical advice. Their services are free and confidential. They have classes and they support before, during, and after birth. Politically, I had a few thoughts. Most of the Supreme Court's verdict in Roe versus Wade in the original decision rested upon two sentences. They were, we need not resolve the difficult question of when life begins. When those trained in the respective disciplines of medicine, philosophically, and theology are unable to arrive at any consensus, the judiciary at this point in the development of man's knowledge is not a position to speculate as to an answer. Although those sentences sound both harmless and simple, they were not. The Supreme Court's non-decision was not harmless. It overturned state laws that protected the unborn and has resulted in over 30 million abortions, roughly the population of Canada in the United States. A crucial role of government is to protect life. Government cannot remove a segment of the human population from its protection without adequate justification. Roe versus Wade was a bad decision that needed to be overturned. This decision just returned the abortion issue out of the federal level and back to each individual state to legislate. I'm okay with limiting big government control and putting decision-making back in the state's level. When does a human being become a person? A baby can no more live outside the mother's womb without a caregiver than they can inside the womb. When can he or she live independently? Should terminating their life be legal until they can fend for themselves? This becomes a slippery slope in the decision of when it became okay to terminate the life of an unborn baby. Thanks for listening.
Or you can pause it there.
I love
Hey,
it.
Ray.
She took it to the good book. She took it to the original ruling. You could definitely hear her passion, and she just wasn't someone that was talking about it. She was about it because, she mentioned the center and her and her husband's support. So, I can absolutely identify. Like I told you guys, I'm born and raised Catholic, so I battle with the religious component of this. Definitely, I respect her position.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I do too. I mean, obviously she's a Christian.
Yeah.
And she's with her beliefs first, and she's a woman. So even though she's a woman, but she's going with her beliefs from the Bible.
30, but damn, that number hit, huh? 30 million.
As
30?
far as is that Canada? That was what she said.
No, she said the population of Canada and America.
30 million population of Canada. Now the question, the crazy thing
million.
about that is, what does today look like with 30 million additional lives? See,
Dude,
so that's the flip, right? Like,
dude, there's so much land in America though that is undeveloped.
But
and
we're
yet
complaining
still
about-
every major city has a huge homeless population. The cost of real estate is out of control. People can't pay their rent with
That's an inflation problem. That's a governmental problem. That's a lot of things that.
Does that impact you today? When you go to the grocery, when you go to the gas station, when you go looking for a house, does that not impact you right here?
And I'll say, what was her name?
Tina.
I'll say it like Miss Tina said. Hey, you got the Lord, you got all you need.
Well,
he'll take the good Lord, and the good book will take care of you.
I respect that. I do, but I just think that it's easy.
I think a leap of faith is, let's put in your perspective. When you had a child, when I had a child, you had a child. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I had my oldest,
I was
younger.
I was-
Like I was in my 20s, but I was scared.
I was debating.
Yeah.
That's,
I was scared. Oh, you were debating.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
know I was going to
That's
do it.
unfair. Did you always know though that you'd have a solid support system? I could answer that for you. I don't even need you to. I could say yes. I know that because I know your support system.
Yeah,
The
but
same way I know my support system. No two people's circumstances are the same.
I'm saying, but at the end
so
of the
it's
day,
unfair.
the support system there, but at the end of the day, it's not like.
Oh, dude,
It's-
don't you dare underestimate the power of a support system.
No, I'm
You're
not underestimating the power of
insane.
support system. At the end of the day, it's people can say they're gonna have your back, or whatever, but it solely comes down to you.
Did you ever have
Like-
to work and figure out how you was going to work and take care of your child and then pay for the bills and do any of that? You may have had instances of that, but that was never your everyday issue or gripe or challenge, was it? That's a real thing for a lot of people. It's a real thing. And again, I'm not saying anybody's position on this is right or wrong. I'm just saying sometimes it's easy to take for granted your circumstances versus somebody else's. And I'll be
True.
the first to admit that I could not have asked for, and like you, Ray, when the bell rang and I found out I was going to be a father, I was also very hesitant. You know what I'm saying? I'm a young man. I'm like, am I ready to go down this road? Even though I spent my entire young life raising children, my brothers and sisters, I still had, fears and hesitant and concerns because I knew it was going to be a challenge mentally, emotionally, financially. You know what I'm saying? But all that said, I never once questioned my ability to do it based on helping out my brothers and sisters and also knowing about my support system. That is not everybody's situation, not even close sometimes.
Well, like I said, I don't know if people look at it from a complete perspective, if they can do it or how it's going to impact them personally. Like I don't know if this generation today probably looks at it like what they give up, or not just generation, any generation looks like what their life's going to, like what they're giving up, their goals, their dreams,
Oh, they
their
do.
aspirations. You know
I think
what I mean?
they do.
You know what I mean? So it's not like the support system more so is a part of them they're going to have to let go, or part of their dreams they're going to have to let go. You know what I mean?
Did
Like
you have those same questions when you found out you was going to be a father?
Which one exactly?
Like, okay,
Support-
like, wow, what's my life going to look like? Am I going to be able to pursue the same things I wanted to pursue? Like,
Oh,
am I gonna-
I knew I couldn't.
that's what I'm saying. Like, that is timeless, Reg. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter if that happened in 2022,
no, that's what I'm-
1992, or 1882.
No,
Like,
but I'm saying it doesn't fall down to the support system. It falls down to how is this going to impact your goals, your dreams. That's what I mean by like, not like, oh, can I financially do this, or am I ready for this? Am I not where I need to be? So a lot of the things fall in that mindset. Not just, oh, can I do this with help? No, not the help part, but what are you giving up as a person, or a person with aspirations, or a person that is not financially where they want to be, or in career wise, or have they done a lot of their sowing their oats? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of things like that.
I
mean.
won't doubt that, but I'm willing to bet everybody's first question is, can I do this? Before you even get to hopes and dreams, like, can I do this? Like, how does my life look 9 months from now? How am I going to work and pay my bills and take care of this child, all doing so? And today's environment is probably a little more is a little more in line because more people work from home. So you could probably pull that off now. But if we're looking
Back in the day.
back in the day where you're like, I got to go into an office, but I don't have like a support system here. So that means daycare in addition to like it
was
these
rough.
Are real, yeah, it's a real life. I remember spending like almost a G plus in daycare, bro. I was paying more in daycare at one point than I was rent, like that's real stuff. Like that's real stuff that people, and there was two of us with the support system. Like I'm just saying, like shit is real, man. It is real.
No, stuff is real like that, but I just think also there's that selfish type of me. You know what I mean? Like, not like, let me man up or woman up and responsible. It's like, damn, have I lived enough to bring someone into this world? Because I haven't lived myself.
Well,
so a lot of
definitely.
that comes into play. Like, I haven't traveled. I haven't done this. Oh, man. I'm not going to be able to play, hang out with the boys or play this or go have girls' night. So all this, your circle changes too.
It
There's
does.
factor in you people that are single and whatever don't come around no more because they're hanging out with single people.
Because you got babies and they don't.
Exactly. So
responsibility.
so your world changes, your circle changes.
Next caller.
Yeah, I was gonna say but that was really good. Thank you for that, Miss Tina. Right?
That was beautiful.
Yes, thank you, Tina.
Yeah.
Well said. Well thought out. Now this one's gonna be it's two of them because I think she stopped or whatnot. But let's go.
My name is Carolyn Freeman. I'm a resident of New Orleans, Louisiana, in a state that has just outlawed abortion. In a
Can you
city
pause that real quick?
that is just
I'm sorry. Does she that sound like she's running for office?
She did
Yo.
come in with a very kind of regal energy.
Yo,
about
she
her.
just had that cadence too. She was just like, my name is Thing. I'm running for the office and da-da-da.
I don't want to make light about it.
I'm not gonna make light of it.
I hear the passion in her. This
I'm
is very important.
I think
to
the
her.
point of her. I think the point of her doing all that is to let you know that
She
she's
means
not,
business?
She's not afraid.
Yeah, she's not. Yeah.
No,
not afraid.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No. But hey, listen, this is Bro-RantZ. I'm sorry. You should have known who you're signing up for.
Well, nah, we got to show her the same respect we show
I'm
Tina.
giving her
We-
respect. I'm saying she sounds
we
legitimate.
had no commentary for her.
Bro, she sounds
start all
legitimate.
over.
Yeah,
I'm
start
gonna
all
start
over.
all
I love her voice. I love the way she came on. I'm gonna be quiet now, but I loved it. I loved it.
shut down. My name is Carolyn Freeman. I'm a resident of New Orleans, Louisiana, in a state that has just outlawed abortion, in a city that has just shut down its only abortion clinic, and I am terrified of the attack on women's bodies and rights. There's a meme going around social media that uses the metaphor of camping. Someone offers to take a friend camping or get an abortion in another state and says they don't ever have to talk about it, ever. How tragic to never ever feel comfortable or in a safe space in society to talk about it. For society to make you feel shame for wanting to talk about it. I've been talking so much with friends about the fact that it's hard enough to make a decision whether or not to have an abortion if a woman finds herself in this position, or really deal with many of the changes and experiences a woman's body goes through during her lifetime. Menstruation, PMS or PMDD, pregnancy, possibly abortion, and then to be pressured to be silent about it all, well, that just rubs salt in the wounds. Going through it is one thing, but silence is death. Death to your mental health, your spirit, your happiness. I think the fact that women are so scared to talk about their feelings about it or whether they've had it or anything is the tragic part. And you know what else? If they do talk about it, women feel as if they should say, it's the worst thing I've ever had to do. It was traumatic. I have so many regrets. What if a woman does not feel this way? What if they are confident in their decision? If done early enough in pregnancy, and abortion can be likened to a heavy monthly period. I certainly know women who have excruciatingly painful and heavy periods every single month. At the same time, I know women who've had abortions and it has caused little physical discomfort. If done early enough, it can be done through prescription drugs without a procedure. Does that have to be traumatic for everyone? Why should a woman have to feel ashamed or be made to feel as if they should have regrets? Of course, it is very personal, and of course, it is extremely sensitive, and it is not easy. But to require a woman to express shame or regret, no, it is a uniquely personal experience, and I believe we should honor any emotion a woman experiences, both positive and negative. So if I were to take you camping or to get an abortion in another state, it's your choice whether to talk about it or not. Just shout it from the mountaintops if you want. And I will support you no matter what you choose. No judgment, only love.
Wow. That was like
I don't know, man.
two very powerful statements, even though they have conflicting views.
Yeah, I don't know how I felt about that. Because I don't know if there should be any. I don't know, man. Maybe I mistook it, but I don't know if she was talking about. So I know your feelings are your feelings, but should there be any gratification from it, or I don't know if she was pedaling towards that, or because I know the shame part of it, but I don't know if there's any happiness in this.
See,
I don't think she was saying happiness. I think she was just saying that
or liberation, or I don't know, but
It's your choice.
Right.
No, it's her choice, but the emotion she was saying, like, you shouldn't be shamed or shouldn't be whatever. Like, not every experience, whether it's positive or negative. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I can't speak on it because I'm not a female, but I think where she was coming from is like there's a stigma that's attached to someone that's had an abortion, that you're either made to feel you feel like you can't really talk about it, or you're supposed to feel some type of shame. And I think what she was saying is if you're someone that you were responsible, at least in the approach of how you went about your abortion, and you just knew that for you that was what you needed, that's where you were at, and you just knew that you weren't at a place to provide any more than that, then you shouldn't walk around feeling shameful because you did what was best for you in that moment. You know what I'm saying? And I hear where she's coming from.
Do you think it should be announced? Do you believe it should be announced from the rooftops?
No, but I think that you should be able to talk about it without feeling shamed or judged.
No,
If we were held accountable for every poor decision that we made, whether it was viewed, whether it was within public opinion or not, then you know what, life would look different for all of us. I think all she's saying is like, hey, if this is what you did, for whatever reason you did it, and you know what, you shouldn't walk around carrying this badge of shame, especially if you feel confident in why you did it and you knew that was the best thing for you at that time.
I think she's trying to avoid the reaction you giving right now.
Which was what?
I don't get it. Like, shouldn't she feel that way? Like that? Like,
It wasn't. No, I didn't get. Like, she was saying it, and it was the conflicting thing for me was I was trying to understand, but going back to I'm spiritual and whatever too, but to me it's like when she was like, oh, it shouldn't be ashamed, or and that there shouldn't be whatever. Maybe there's some shame to it, maybe there's not, but when it seemed to almost seem like there was a celebratory type of feeling that should be associated with it. That's what I was like, is that what she's leaning to? That's why I said I didn't get it. I didn't know if she was leaning toward you can be happy as hell or you can be sad as hell. It's your choice. I was just like, I don't know who's going to be ecstatic is what I'm saying. But I don't know what that's what I said. I didn't know if she was leaning toward that because she didn't really like,
That was my takeaway.
she didn't really like clarify it for me.
I don't think she was trying to say you should you should celebrate it, but I think she's just saying like if that's your choice, and you should be able to say, yes, I had an abortion, and that's what I wanted to do.
Right. Yeah, but I don't
versus. Did you have an abortion? Well, I really shouldn't.
Right,
talk
you can't
about
talk about it and carrying around lifelong shame.
Well, statistically I don't think that, statistically, as far as the 30 million and how society is now very open about things, I don't know if that's how they approach it these days anyway.
No, you're wrong. There's still a stigma that comes with abortions. There is.
For the younger generation?
Absolutely.
Because the younger generation is pretty open.
Bruh.
But the thing is, the younger
Pretty
generation
vulgar.
doesn't necessarily always. The crazy thing is, the younger generation's issues don't usually come from the younger generation. The younger generation's issues usually stem from the older generation that still has their views on how the world should work and how things should happen. So you're right. Against their peers, they may be fine, but you know what? There's still a healthy part of the population that are from older generations that still have certain views on things. So yes, you're still subject to public opinion and a lot of it.
Well, I would say I think it's more accepting these days from your peers, from their peers.
Exactly.
Maybe not their parents, but here's I don't know about depending on the parents these days. But go ahead.
I was gonna say like what you just said just now. You're trying to say from the peers. I don't think you would go out and. I don't think it would be appropriate to go out and. I don't think they would feel like it's appropriate to talk to you with your friends. Unless they brought it up. But I think what Carolyn was trying to say was that you should be able to say it without having to worry about some blowback versus with your peers where you feel like you can't really say it because you're worried about how they're gonna perceive you as a bad person.
Okay. There's some shame too, and it's the same.
There is gonna be some
flip-
kind of
no, the flip-
emotional pain to it.
Oh no! I would say there's some shame too. Do you remember the stigma where younger people would say that they're pregnant, and it'd be that shame as well too, right? So it's crazy. It's borderline the same type of reaction, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. No.
Ready for the
Like I
next
said, it's
one?
interesting. Yeah, it was an interesting thing. Thank you for that, Caroline. Like I said, I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to understand what you were saying. You're saying scream from the rooftops. Yeah, you can definitely be confident in saying
Or maybe
and have your support system.
maybe
But it's not. To me, it's.
maybe if she listens to the show, which she does sometimes, I hope you do. Hey, if you
funny.
listen to the show, maybe she'll hit us up and elaborate on what she
Yeah,
was saying.
definitely elaborate. Don't
Okay.
because I'm just trying to understand. I'm not. My thing is, it's no one's. It's no one. Basically, it's your story, right? So it's your story. Whoever you choose to share it with. I don't think a woman
But
or
your
a man
story
should
doesn't
have to.
Your story doesn't mean you're not subject to somebody's public opinion of it, though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying we don't all spread our skeletons just at everyone. We talk to it's always done on a level of trust with whomever we're speaking with. So I won't go to my neighbor and say, "Hey, dude, I just did this." I don't we all have a different relationship with certain people that we trust with certain things. So to me, I don't think a woman would be screaming it to the rooftops just to anyone. I mean, when you speak this, it'd be your circle. It'd be your friends. And if you want to talk to a younger person and influence their decision or help them make the right decision, I don't see any shame coming from that. Like, you trying to help a young person that's in a situation you probably were at that age.
Right.
So anyway, thank you again, Caroline, right? Or Caroline?
Carolyn.
Thank you. Thank you. And like I said, you made some great points.
And I don't think she's running for office.
Yeah.
No, she definitely has a good
powerful,
speaking
though,
voice.
Very regal, yes.
She should.
Absolutely.
Okay.
She should consider it.
Here's the next one.
I'd come out to one of your rallies.
I would, just to hear
In
your
regards
voice.
to Roe versus Wade, here is my thoughts. I am pro-life, not just because I'm a Christian, but also because I consider all life valuable and worth living. If a woman decides to have an abortion, it is her choice, but mandating each state to be forced to allow such facilities to be available is, in my opinion, taking it a little bit too far. There are many procedures that insurance does and doesn't provide authorization and ease of availability to, and the federal government doesn't force insurance companies to make them available. As a woman, I don't believe our choice has been taken, but our convenience has been disrupted.
Whoa, Mike, drop. That was powerful. Shit. Wow. Damn. I mean, you can look at it from that perspective in wow, convenience. Yeah. Wow. I mean, that was short but so impactful because she said a lot in just a little. Wow, man. Jeff, you want to comment on that, or Ray?
So I love the way she phrased it, and she's right. Like, the choice hasn't been taken away. Some of the convenience has.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at that convenience, again, for me, it's always about the end result. And maybe it's just the way my mind works. Maybe I'm too logical and, I overthink things. But I guess ultimately, where is the win? Like, where's the progress in someone having to travel 5 hours from the state that they currently reside to another state to have the procedure, if the procedure is still available? So, like, I guess I'm trying to figure out, like, what is the end game? What's like, where was the success? Is it just so from a state standpoint, you could say, well, hey, this is our position on it, and I guess maybe so, but I agree, like, very powerful and very, very well put.
Yeah, I mean, she made a valid point where the government makes more, doesn't make other procedures available for people, which that shit makes sense.
Yeah, she basically, she understands.
Yeah.
She's pro-life, but she understands that with this decision, it does kind of mess things up, but it doesn't really, how she put it is that it doesn't just it doesn't make it so it's just easy to go, do it like going through a drive-through or something.
Yeah.
That's the way she kind of
make it convenient. Like, oh, you know what? Yeah, exactly. Just make it.
But it is if it's a state that continues to support it.
Well, yeah, if it's a state that continues to
That's what I'm
support it.
saying.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And I know it's all up
Yeah.
here for me, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
if you are in one of the states that are continue to support it, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and maybe it being an inconvenience makes people have a longer thought and a process of thinking about it to come to a very sensible, decision, whether to see how it really impacts them versus just making a decision based off of fear.
I 100% prescribe to us, like people like us, being better, making better decisions, and being accountable. All of that said, do I believe that this decision is going to carry some type of significant impact on how people conduct themselves? I don't think so. Especially when you have companies coming out saying that, you know what, well, hey, we will support, any type of travel expenses needed to allow you to go somewhere to have the procedure done. So I think you are who you are, and there are some instances, whether it's medical or it's unforeseen, but I think if you're the type of person that you're just out there and you're throwing caution to the wind, this doesn't change anything for you. You're going to continue to move how you always moved. Yeah. It just means maybe you got to travel a little farther now to deal with the consequences of your actions.
So thank you, Hope. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
She had a great
her name is Hope.
Oh,
very.
Have we spoken to
Hope
Hope
before?
before?
Hope on before,
We
right?
spoke to Hope before.
No, I thought we did.
Nah, we spoke to Grace. Grace, Faith.
As a matter of fact, they are sisters.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Their names are Hope
And Faith.
Grace and Faith.
Oh my
Now,
God!
Who did we talk to that had the two boys?
Totally kidding.
That's Faith.
That was Faith. Right?
Did I just
You
say it was
nailed
Grace Faith?
Yeah,
I told you.
nailed
I
it.
was just
Yes,
kidding.
you nailed it. They sound similar though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Yeah, like you said, it's not going to change the way certain people are. But like I said, maybe it saves. Maybe it makes people, like I said, the inconvenience. Maybe some people that are traveling out of state have a second thought because the fear subsides and they start thinking, well, what if I can do this, versus the fear of, have the first initial thoughts. You never know, man. Anyway,
Yeah, it may make people think before the act.
yeah, because you have more time. Because you have more time to think versus you make a decision. You find out on Tuesday. You make a decision for Friday, and
Well, I meant before you lay down.
oh, that too, yeah.
Before you lay down,
That's
you
true.
might think a little bit different.
Did I
But
read
that's what I said, I
something
can-
where they have like a pill now that men can take?
They were making one.
Right? I thought I read something recently
Yeah,
where
making
they're
one.
making something for men that you take it and it's like a form of birth control.
Yeah, they were making
For
something
men.
like that. Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Mhm.
we should.
Yeah.
All right. On to
Imagine
the next
all-
one.
Go ahead, Reg. I can see
what
it.
you getting ready to say?
What
you getting ready to say?
Equal parts here. Would you take the pill,
Just
Reg?
imagine all the women are like, "Oh no," that had plans.
He's gonna get cut.
All the,
Hey,
all the
on to
gold,
the next
all the gold
Let's-
diggers.
please,
Yo, imagine
please,
all
on to the next
the entrapment
On
women
to the
and gold
next
diggers are like, "Oh
Like,
no."
I'm pregnant. Like, wrong.
Yo,
I'm on the
could you-
pill.
yeah, exactly. Could you imagine them like taking the guy's birth control pill? No, you don't need this today. The fuck I know.
Like,
Yo, it just ruined. It would
like
put a.
it's yours. Morgan. I took my pill.
It'll put a fucking wrench in their plans. Like, could you just imagine? Like, this is the guy's payback. You know what I mean? This is like, fuck you. Like,
right.
oh, you're not taking yours? I'm taking mine.
Yes.
I'll see you in 20 minutes when this shit dissolves. I'm just saying, yeah,
Like, you
payback.
think you got me, but I already took my dose of
Exactly.
not today.
Exactly.
All right.
Sorry. I'm
Not
sorry.
today.
We
Yo,
sidetracked.
from God, not today.
Not today.
Look, it's yours.
That's what you would call it.
Yo, it's yours. Hell no, it ain't. I've been using this for a whole month.
Right.
That ain't mine. But what I found out is, use a hoe. No, kidding.
We're definitely gonna have to edit that out.
Okay.
Yeah, you use a liar. There we go.
She was a lie.
All right.
Okay, Ray. So I'm going to give you my opinion on the Roe versus Wade and how I feel about what's going on. Being a woman and having 2 children, I wanted both of my children. And I think that trying to take that right away from a woman where she can't make rights regarding her body is part of her constitutional right. It's part of the 14th Amendment. It's part of the due process. You should be able to do whatever you want with your body. And it takes 2 to tango. So there's women out there that don't believe in abortion. That's fine. There's women who do believe in it. I believe in someone being able to make their own decisions for the best interests of their personal beliefs and their body. I have 2 children, and I almost died twice. With my son, first and foremost, I had a high-risk pregnancy. The doctor knew it was high risk. Instead of delivering my son early so that I could have a safer and vaginal birth, he had me go past my due date. The father of my son is 6'7". I'm barely 5'1". I'm very small and petite. I almost died the day I had my son. We both almost died. We were both in ICU, and I literally blacked out on the operating table. And I was literally throwing up as they were cutting me open. I was so sick. And he got out of ICU before me. And then with my daughter, it was not a high-risk pregnancy, but after the delivery, it was a C-section. I started hemorrhaging, and I didn't know I was bleeding to death. The nurse had came in at the right time because I was almost about ready to go to sleep forever. I could not keep my eyes open because I was losing too much blood too quickly. So I couldn't imagine being in a situation to where, even though I wanted my children, I couldn't imagine being in a situation to where if I were to get pregnant, the condom were to break, or I was raped, or, incest, or, just some crazy scenario that I couldn't have an abortion. That is insane. And I have had abortions. I'm not going to say how many. My mom had a history of when bringing, I think it was my older half-sister into this world, she almost died with trying to deliver my older half-sister. So sometimes there's medical diagnoses that are missed. They're not found until later on because the mom appears to be healthy, no type of medical condition, no existing medical conditions, and women will die. Having a baby is very, very hard on the body. And, women are just so amazing being able to bring children into this world and breastfeed. And, women are so strong. It is said that a woman can tolerate pain 3 times higher than what a man can. So we're very pain intolerant. So I couldn't imagine a woman feeling so desperate because she can't have a baby because she was raped, or there was incest, or she lives in a family where they'll disown her, or for whatever reason that she's going to put her own life in danger to travel and to have an abortion in a very unsafe and dangerous way where the infection can kill her just because she's having it in an alley or in Mexico or TJ or whatever it is. I could not imagine that. What has this world come to? This is the United States of America. We have the Constitution for a reason. And we also have the freedom of speech. And we also have the right to make decisions. A woman has the right to make decisions about her body. I am not government property. And it makes me sick to know that they're just trying to take rights away. And it kind of starts with the man. A woman just can't make a baby. It literally starts from a man, and a woman turns it into a baby. So what are they going to do with men? Are they going to go around sterilizing everybody? I mean, because it's not like guys like to wear condoms, and, even if there was, and there is birth control, you think men are really going to do the work? Hell no. And it just sucks. There's going to be so many unwanted children and poverty and kids that are going to be in foster care. I'm definitely against long-term pregnancy abortions, but when it's early enough, it's the woman's body. My personal opinion, anything under like 15 weeks, 14 weeks, a lot of the time, and I can speak for myself, you don't even know you're pregnant until you're sometimes 6, 8, 10 weeks pregnant. You don't even know. If you don't have enough HCG in your urine, it's going to keep coming out negative when you're pregnant. That happened with me with both of my children. I was already almost 2 months pregnant, and the tests were still telling me it was negative when it was really a positive. So it's just a sad day. It's really scary because it makes you think what's to expect ahead of us. I definitely am against it. I'm pro-choice. I respect other people's opinions. But this is the United States of America, and I think it's absolutely horrible. So that is just my opinion. I just wanted to give my thoughts. But very, very sad day. Thank you.
Yeah, you said her name was Renee?
Shanette.
Shanette, I just have one quarrel with you on, you said that, you know, it takes two to tango, and if men won't take the birth control, you got to factor in sometimes, well, you know, there's a percentage that women are on birth control pills, right? And they don't take it, and men trust the women to do that as well. So there's a lot of women that don't keep up with their birth control pills. So to just put it on a man that he won't be able to do it, or the man, there's two sides to the story, is all I'm saying. So you can't just put it on the man it can't just be on the man because the man didn't put on a condom and the woman says that she's on birth control and she doesn't follow through on the birth control. Mistakes happen on both ends. So it can't just be placed on the man is what I'm saying. So that's my gripe with you on that. But, you know, kudos to you for having your children. Oh, and yeah, that to me was
The high risk.
the high risk was not really it was your doctor's fault, and the fact that he
made her wait.
made her wait past the and not have it early and go natural versus having a C-section. Dude, that's definitely like a medical
Malpractice.
Malpractice, exactly. But yeah, those are my things, and the fact that you have a great perspective because you did both. You had pro-life, and then you also had a couple abortions, a few, whatever, how many you didn't say, but you have done it a couple times. So you're speaking from both perspectives. So,
and she even talked about something like she was pregnant, but the test came up negative.
Yeah, being for like the first 9-10 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
you know, just because, you know, when you're trying to identify, like, okay, if you are going to go back and implement some type of reform, I know a lot of times that we default to like a time frame,
right?
And I do know a couple of cases of women, even in my own situation, we didn't know right away. You know, like you don't find out sometimes until like, you know, maybe fairly, you know, late into the first trimester. In some instances, you hear about women that were pregnant and didn't even know until they were like 5 months. You know, so it's crazy.
It is crazy.
The human body.
The female
especially
body.
The female human body is really just
resilient.
A work of art and resilient. It really is.
yeah. And you have anything else?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, go on to the next.
On to the next.
And thank you,
Shanette.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm bad with names. I was like, Shanae.
Hello, my name is Leticia, and I appreciate the invite and letting me join in on this topic. Overturning Roe versus Wade was a sad day in America. Women are still going to get abortions, but they're not going to be done safe, and women are going to die. The treatment for an ectopic pregnancy is done with abortion, or a miscarriage that the body won't release is treated with an abortion, or a septic uterus is also treated with an abortion. So just picture a doctor weighing the pros and cons on whether to save a woman's life because he cannot perform an abortion. Personally, I'm a cancer patient, and I know many cancer patients who physically cannot carry a baby full term because of this disease have no other choice but to get an abortion, and that has now been taken away from them. So again, overturning Roe versus Wade was a sad day in America and a major setback for women's rights.
She took it to the medical aspect of it.
Yeah.
Didn't even think of that.
That's a Honduran Softail.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right. You were saying that.
Yeah, she's a cancer patient.
Yeah.
Hopefully with the chemo coming up, she'll be doing, and the radiation therapy she'll be getting better.
I still follow you, girl. I love that bike. I hope you're doing well.
To the Roe versus Wade overturn, my thoughts is I agree with the decision. I've never been an advocate for abortion. I am a Christian. I also am a single parent. But outside of my religious beliefs, my personal beliefs have always been that we do have a right to choose. However, my choice isn't at conception. My choice is at the moment that I decide to lay down with someone. At that moment, I have decided and made the choice that I could be raising a child with this person. this person could be a potential father. And I've contemplated all those different ideas. I do also feel that if we are going to make abortion illegal, then we need to also be in support of help. With that being said, I think that we need to support families that do decide to adopt. I think that the adoption process should be a little bit easier. I think that families that are adopting should be a lot more financially supported, so that if a woman or a family decides that they do want to go the adoption route, that that's something that should be supported for families that do decide to take the children in. I do think that also that we should support our single family homes a lot more. I am a single parent, so I do know the struggle of that. But I think that it would be unfair to say that, we're going to make it unlawful for you to abort. However, we're not going to support and provide aid and assistance for you to be able to keep your child if you choose, or provide a family that would like to keep your child.
That's what I'm talking about. Matter of fact, that's what we've all been talking about. Yeah. It's easy to make a decision and implement a consequence, but you need a fix. You need it. And so it's easy, like whether you're doing it for moral reasons, whether you're doing it because of your religious beliefs, that's all well and good. But there has to be some type of support system in play if you're going to say, no, you can't do that and you have to do this. I just, otherwise we're right back to the same conversation we had earlier, which is like you're looking at an uptick in potential child support, right? You're looking at additional strain on the system, right? Because that's an uptick in welfare. In addition to that, you're also looking at children that if they're not coming into, and I don't want to use an ideal situation because not many people have an ideal situation, but if you're not coming into a loving, nurturing situation, what does that look like 18 years later? You guys, what I'm saying? So like, if it's fine, if that is the choice that is being made, then you know what, where's the support? And that's the issue. I still believe that, everyone should have the choice to do what they want with their body. But if you're going to overturn that, then, there should be conversations about, okay, well, what structure can we put in place in support of how we feel about this?
Well said.
Yeah, I think she had a very thought out answer. And like we were just discussing, it sounded like she had the reform we were talking about and making an incentive to keep a child.
Right.
And if you plan to keep it, you're single, to give you more help. And if you
more resources,
resources, and if you want to adopt a child, to give you more resources. So yeah, she sounded like, it was an answer for everything. And maybe that is a route. Maybe there's.
But then you're back to people like, oh well, we're taking care of them and they're bleeding the system and they're just making kids. So it's kind of like it's this weird, and I agree with that too. I absolutely think there are hardcore people that manipulate the system all day, all night, and we've seen it. We know some of these folks, but like,
did you say we know some of them?
We do.
I hope we don't.
We do, right? But
I got stories for days.
But that's not everybody, and it's unfair to lump everybody into that same category.
No, but if we can cough up 40, like I said, 40 billion, 80 billion, however much we've sent over to Ukraine,
no, don't even get me started.
We should be able to take care of our own here, and that goes down the line from vets to the homeless. Yeah. I mean, there's just so much. You even have public school. You're talking about, there's kids that just the only time they eat is Monday through Friday.
Isn't it madness that there are still people that are starving in parts of the world, parts of this country,
in America?
It is madness.
But we can print money.
That's even still a thing.
But we can print money at the drop of war.
Yeah,
but we won't do it to feed the poor.
It was always in Tupac's song.
Yeah.
Talking about the exact topic.
was always been big business.
Money,
We
yeah,
know
big
that.
business, big
I
business.
wondered, what was her name one more time? I'm sorry.
She never said.
She didn't say.
No,
Okay.
she didn't say. So we don't want to announce it.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I know who that is, and you guys have already said her name.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
Well,
Fate. So
I wanna-
thank you, Fate.
That's not Faith.
I want to
Grace.
shout you out because
Going down the line.
Grace.
in addition to just providing a perspective from both a spiritual standpoint and as a single mom, touching on the fact that, you know what, we need to revisit our resources. I love the fact that you took it to, when the responsibility actually begins, right?
Absolutely.
And there's debate about, when
She
there's
did.
actual
Yeah.
life, when there isn't really life. And you took it to the moment of the act, which if everybody
Did.
led with that thought process, we'd probably be in a better place.
Oh,
So shout out
we
to
would
you.
be.
That was heavy knowledge you just dropped. Mic drop for you, girl.
What you still had like the sounds, but you don't do that.
Now, don't get him started. He forgot. It's been a while.
This was a serious topic.
you
so
know,
you know what I mean.
He forgot. Don't have him ear horning now.
Nah, this was a serious topic. I was trying to be serious, fellas.
No, but I got you. Yeah.
All
All right.
You know what I mean?
No,
Get
that
to
was
the-
mic drop, though.
You want me to get to the next one?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Grace. We appreciate you.
Greetings. I was personally happy that the Wade versus Roe was overturned because I do a lot of social services, and I have a lot of girls that talk to me, and I give them advice, and sometimes the relationships can get personal, where they come to me for advice and tell me a lot of different personal things that's going on in their life. And so in my opinion, it's become a trend, if that's the word that I can use, where or abortions have become like a go-to. So maybe trend is not the word, but like a go-to. It's like, oh, I'm pregnant. Oh, I'm just going to get an abortion. 3 months later, oh, Miss, Latasha, I'm pregnant. Oh, I'm just going to get an abortion. And so I've known some girls who have spoken to me about being pregnant and just, getting abortions. And I'm like, hey, let's talk about some preventive measures or, self-love, your body and all that kind of stuff versus just, just getting pregnant and just having an abortion. Like, let's think about some of the effects of that and the other things that comes with abortions, which is, could be depression or guilt and stuff like that. And so I was kind of honestly happy that it's overturned. I know I'm probably in the lower percentage of people that feel this way, but I don't know, obviously not though, because it was overturned. So maybe I am the majority. I don't know, but I know I'm the majority with a lot of my friends and associates, because I've, listened to them speak out about it, and they're like, oh, why would they overturn it? Women's body and your own personal choice and all that. And I, just kind of have always silently had some reasons that I didn't really agree, but I've never really said it out loud to a lot of people that are not, close to me. But I just kind of felt like, I understand it's our body, my life, but it's like, I don't know, something inside of me was just like, abortions and these little babies that become something if you choose to have them, and just the fact that, that was a life and it's just gone. And so, again, I still kind of, like I say, do feel like, our body, my body, but it's just like, I just don't like where abortions had become. And again, in my experience and just working with young girls, it's just become like just a thing. And so that is kind of what bothered me. And that's some of the reasons why I was on that side of the fence of, hoping that it did get overturned.
Wow. Her perspective, being on the front line and seeing that, and that's what I was trying to say before. I was thinking it's like when Shanae mentioned it, and I was trying to say, I don't think it's as looked upon as shameful these days, because I think the younger generation just speaks about it like it's nothing. You know what I mean? And her saying that, dealing with younger people, and it just and for her to be like, oh, they just mentioned 3 months later they're doing the same thing, and they just mention it like it's nothing, with no ramifications.
Right, like you just popping pills, or
Yeah, but
Like,
it's
you
the
getting
line
here,
of
dude.
work that she's in too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But she's seeing it from that perspective, from the front line, is what I'm saying. As far as with the youth,
You're not, as a social worker, if you're dealing with the youth, it's for a reason. So like, I expect her to have those conversations. I expect her to hear those things and run in that circle, because that's what happens in that circle. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure if you take a look at it today versus 10 years ago, you're right. The frequency is probably gone up, but there's a reason that there's a social worker involved. I think the difference is what the previous caller was saying, was that you shouldn't feel ashamed for being able to talk about it or stigmatized about it. I think what this woman is saying is that, like, now it's become such a thing that they don't even think about it. It doesn't carry the weight of like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this now, because it's just like another day, it's another procedure. So I understand where she's coming from, but I still think it's two different points.
you don't think there's shame? Okay, I'm gonna put it this way: the people that have mentioned they're pro-life, there's been more, almost like a, not shame, but it's almost been like it's almost like they've hid their voice, and it's almost like they can't proudly admit this. She said she's not even popular with her coworkers admitting it. She's one lower percentage. So it's almost a shame is saying that they're for this pro-life thing. Have you seen that trend that from the people you've played, that you more so hear it like
they're pro-life versus
like there's almost a shame in saying that, oh, I'm not for this thing, versus the shame in saying I'm for abortion that you think would be the case, right? It seems like there's more shame in the pro-lifers.
Well, she started saying that she thought she was in the minority. Then she said, well, maybe I'm in the majority because it got overturned. Then she said, well, in certain circles I discuss it, but in others, matter of fact, if you listen to her, the driving force behind how she feels is really just her interaction with these young ladies. Because even at the end, she sounded like she was kind of like, well, I'm still for, like, choice of body, but, it's kind of turned into like a trendy thing, and I'm not liking that. So I think she doesn't like the direction that it's heading, but it sounds like she wasn't all the way sold on the removal of the process if it's really being utilized appropriately.
Well, she was also saying that the child could be something.
Well, at the very end,
Yeah.
I think what she also said was that the girl was strengthened what she believed, because I think at the end she kind of said she's always kind of felt that way a little bit, but never spoke about it. But her being in social work kind of strengthened what she's always kind of felt. That's what I kind of took from what she said.
Yeah.
But I felt all parties were super strong about how they felt. Like, I didn't think there was necessarily like a difference in energy. Everybody was strong about their opinion, and how their opinion tied in with like their personal experiences.
Well, I to me, I just hope that this doesn't turn into how other political things have happened, where you have to go with the majority, or you're canceled, or shame on you for speaking on a different opinion, because that's what it looks like it's going to turn in. Like, to me, it feels like it's going to be like, if you're not with women, then F you and cancel you. That's where I hope it doesn't turn to, because at the end of it, because that's what everything is turned on. It's either you see my side or you're done.
But the thing is, what side is that? Because if you're pro-life, you're pissing people off. If you're pro-choice, you're pissing people off. So there really is no winning in this battle.
No, but I'm just saying, as far as the opinion, I hope that, because they keep speaking on America and so on, and rights and constitutional. Well, I hope people are still able to have their freedom of opinion.
I think so,
and
with
not
this.
be canceled.
I think
out,
so with this one,
and not be damned, and not be, let's like I said, let's not listen to them. Let's not talk to them because they have an opinion or a strong opinion. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
no,
it should be an open conversation. It should be, and of course, people are gonna have different emotions, because it is that it's a topic that will never be easy to swallow or to not get emotional over.
I think the difference with this and maybe some other situations is this really comes down to like, this is like gender specific, right? So regardless of what side of the fence you fall on, this is how a woman feels about a procedure that takes place with a woman. And I think just based on that common ground, maybe many folks won't get along, but I don't know if it's going to carry the weight of maybe some of the other political issues. And I'm like you, Reg, I hope not.
I hope not.
I don't think it will.
I hope not.
We're at a place where you feel like you can't express how you feel about something if it's not in line with like the majority. So I hope not.
Yeah, because if we don't have open table or platform to speak on this, then ideas can't come from it. Then reform can't happen. Then something new can take place, because there's certain things they talked about, that we're like, whoa, that's a great idea. We spoke on that. And that all happened just for having a dialogue about it. That's it. If you keep quiet and you're like, no, you just supposed to have this thought and not see the other side's opinion or perspective, then nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to come from it. So I just hope that the platform, people can speak on it on venues.
I think we will be able to do that. I do have one more to read. It's a real quick one.
Sure.
Maybe the last one.
Before you read it, Ray, I'm curious, like, do you know who that was that left the message?
Which one?
The very last one we listened to.
That was that was Faith. That was Faith.
You mean no?
That was Ms. Todd.
No,
the very last one.
That was Latasha.
The reason I asked that is because I hope we can revisit this maybe 3 to 6 months from now.
Yeah.
To see if this decision carried some impact with what she's seeing with the young ladies, that, like if she felt like it really did create a fix, if it seems to be either I mean, even before the baby thing, it sounds like just them protecting themselves is a big thing too, right? But if it did somehow help promote like safe sex or
abstinence,
or proper planning, or the actual consideration of a child. So I'm glad you know who it is, because I'd be curious to see like how this decision, she would
definitely follow up with us with that. Okay, cool. Like, she's a person, if she can help you and give you information, she's the person that will help you.
Okay.
All right, definitely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We'll definitely make a note of that and let her know. We'll definitely.
And it's cool because we got 2 people. We've got her that runs in that circle, and then we've got the very first caller that says she helps at another center in Daytona that provides services and counseling and stuff.
Right.
So it'll be really curious to see if we could get feedback from the both of them on what they're seeing, post decision.
That's cool.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. Last one says, overturning Roe doesn't make abortion go away. It'll just make it more dangerous for desperate young women who would do anything to stop an unwanted pregnancy. Sad time in America. I'm pro mind your own business.
That's real.
It doesn't matter what exists inside the body of another. You have 0 rights over the body of another, period.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was potent.
Right to the point.
Powerful, yeah.
Well, thank you for your opinion.
What is it? I'm pro what? Mind your business.
I'm pro mind your business.
Mind your damn business.
I don't know who that is, but thank you. I am going to borrow that. That's going to be like my terminology moving forward. Like,
that's actually Honduran Softail's mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pro mind your own goddamn business.
Yeah.
Yes. Pro mind your business. I love it.
Yeah, like man, this has been a very, very profound thing. I didn't think we were gonna have that much to say on it, to be quite honest with you guys, because just being men, I didn't know how much we were gonna touch on it. I didn't know this was gonna break into a damn near 3 hour episode.
A lot of content, right? And I would love to get feedback from any of the females that heard the show that feel some kind of way about maybe one of our takes or our opinions, or something that, one of the callers shared with us. So, by all means, we always tell you, like, Bro-RantZ family, let us know.